All right. Now for the fun stuff. We'll cut into this piece of meat. Same brisket I had a second ago. It's just I took it out of the wrapper and let it set for a second so it could warm up a little bit. It was kind of cold to the touch, a little frosty. This is a choice brisket. It is not a prime cut. So what that means is that the marbling is not gonna be perfect, and also there's gonna be a little bit more sinewy stuff we gotta deal with. And that's fine, because once you're done with this, it's gonna be, you know, no one will know the difference, I promise you. This is the decal fat, if you can see that right there. We're gonna cut all that out. We're gonna pull some of this silver skin off, some of this loose stuff here. We're gonna trim out some of these rough cuts. But all in all, this is actually a pretty good looking brisket. It's one of the better ones I've seen in the last couple of days, couple of years actually. No big gouges on the backside. Last one I had, I opened up and it was cut right down the middle. It pissed me off, it was horrible. You use any knife. I like a sharp, flexible knife, so I use a fillet knife. Again, doesn't really matter. So if you can see this. Yeah, you can see that real good. All right, so this is that decal I was talking about. And you kind of just want to just dig into it. I mean, don't get crazy with it and go too deep, too fast, too far. You know, like I cut a little bit of the meat off. That's not great, but I mean that's fine. It's whatever. We'll toss it, use it for something else later. And you know, like this stuff right here, you want that going. The rule usually is if it sticks out, it burns, because you know nothing's. The center is going to cook way slower than anything hanging off, right? I mean, the basic thermodynamics makes sense. So the other thing is that this fat acts as an insulating layer. So the more fat you leave on there, the longer it takes to cook, and the longer it keeps cooking after you pull it off the smoke, because all that heat's retained. It's like me, that's why I'm always warm, because I'm fat. So you just kind of want to baby your brisket a little bit, you know. You'll cut your fat down to, you know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and it's not exact. There's no tape measures out here. We're having fun, man. You're doing this because you love people and you want to feed them and you want them to be happy. So what's the worst that could happen? I've had a lot of brisket. I've never had a day that I didn't want to have brisket. Even if it was a bad brisket, it was still pretty good. It's kind of like cold pizza or bad sex. Still better than no sex. Here's like where it gets kind of tricky. You want to make sure you don't cut yourself, obviously, but you also want to get some of this fat off here. So you kind of be cautious, man. I have cut myself a lot, and there's one thing I can tell people: